Welcome everyone to the 2024 ACC tip-off. I'm happy to introduce the Pitt Panthers here on stage with me. Head coach Tony Verdi going into his second season, Brooklyn Miles, as well as Hadejah Faik. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Tori, you've had great success in your previous two stops. Now you're going into year two. Do you feel like this team, how it's coming together, is following along in a similar trajectory?
I think we're headed that way. We obviously still have a lot of work to do. I'm very fortunate that I have these two with me each and every single day, but I do think that we're inching towards that success, and it takes a lot. Everyone asks me, like, what's the special ingredients? Like I have some secret sauce or something like that, and it's extremely hard. And sometimes, I shake my head and I'm like, why did I do this for the third time? But it starts with culture. You got to have great culture, because if you don't have great culture, I don't care how talented your roster is, you're not going to win. And so we've gone out and we have 7 newcomers, we have 5 transfers, 2 freshmen, one in which is unable to perform this year due to an injury. So, but I'm really happy with the players that we brought in this year.
Brooklyn, your head coach just mentioned the culture. And as you were looking around, what was it about what Tori said and what he envisioned that you were like, hey, I want to be a part of this?
Everything, really. As soon as I met him, he's like, hey, I got something special going. I want you to be a part of it. And, I took it and ran with it, and that's what we're doing. We're going to do something special.
Hadejah, this is now, you're a veteran. You've put the time in and everything else. What is the expectation now for you to make this jump, to come into the ACC, new coach, new program, new league, to where right now that you're prepared to have the best year yet of your career?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
What is it now that makes you think that you're ready to have the best year of your career?
I just know that I've been working real hard this summer with the staff, especially Coach Verdi and the rest of them, and they being putting a lot of work and then stuff that I needed on the court, and then I feel like I'm there, and then I feel like come the season I will be able to perform at the way I really want it, every day. So.
Coach Verdi, you talked about some of the makeup in terms of classes and transfers and whatnot, but what about style this year? Now year two for you, what should we expect?
Yeah, we want to continue to be different. Schematically, we want to do different things. The last thing that I want to do is have our opponent to come in and be really comfortable and execute, offensively. And so defensively, we want to continue to change up what we do and keep them guessing. And so, we're starting to get there. I like what I'm seeing in practice. I think both these guys do a great job, and I do think that Hadejah is ready to have an unbelievable year. I think that mentally she's in a great place to perform at the highest level, and I think that I know for a fact that she's going to anchor our front court. But when I look to my left, I have a little point guard here who's our catalyst to our team, and she makes us go. And I'm looking, for Brooklyn to really, go end line to end line, and attack defenses, and then, then on the defensive side of the ball, look to get up and pressure and turn over our opponents. So, we want to be super aggressive defensively. We want to get deflections and steals, and we want to, turn those into points on the offensive end.
Coach, Leatu King, who was with your program last year, had nothing but wonderful things to say about you. Can you talk about what that means to you when players who, even when they depart, speak well in your program, what that means to you?
You said Leatu King?
Yes.
That we look, she should. Whenever you're, the most improved player in the ACC, that means that people took the time out to really invest in you, and we did do that. If you looked at prior to myself, my staff coming in, she averaged 7 points a game, and she at one point she was scoring 22 and having 10, and having a double every single night, and so a lot of people invested in her, but to hear it from her publicly, it just tells you that, you're doing the right things, and my goal in all this is just to continue to help, grow our players, both on the, both obviously on the court, but also in the classroom as well, and in society, and I want them to leave the University of Pittsburgh and feel really good that they could go out into society and be successful.
Coach, the program itself, when you came in, a bunch of players had transferred out. You were looking for new transfers in, recruiting freshmen.
Sure.
I mean, your program, but you've built a solid program here at Pitt. There's a lot of improvement. I mean, can you go into that process as a head coach, the stress of it, the positives of it, especially when you pick up two players like these two stars up here?
Well, it's kind of like PTSD right now. I mean, everything that you just said, to be honest with you, when I first took over and my wife says it to me all the time, like, why are you doing this again? Because it's so hard, and it is hard, and it's stressful. And because as a coach, when you go into a program, you have to change everything, and you have to start at the bottom, and you got to pour the foundation, but most importantly, you got to give your expectations for the program, and then you got to get players to believe in what you're trying to do. And it's really hard, especially in today's day and age. It's easy to recruit freshmen because they haven't played at this level, all right? But when you recruit transfers, in which we need to, in order to compete in the best conference in the country, we had to go and recruit 5, Power 4, institution players, and that's what we did, But these guys have played a lot of basketball. And so it's like now they come into my program, and you got to kind of, reprogram them a little bit. I'm very fortunate enough, all right, that they all have one ingredient, and their competitive spirit is unbelievable, but they're winners. So they know what it's like to win. So for me, it's a little bit easier, all right, but at the same point in time, when you have 5 transfers from other institutions who have had all these different experiences, all right, and then you have 2 freshmen, all right, and then you're trying to put it all together. It's not easy, but what I can tell you is what I try to do is, everything is built on love and respect for one of them. Now they may not feel that in practice, right, and understandably so, all right, but my goal is to develop a rapport and relationship with my players, to get them to understand who Coach Verdi is off the court. And I love these guys, and I appreciate them, and I appreciate everything that they go through. All right, but we got to have that connectivity off the court, so that way when they step on the court, and I'm giving them constructive criticism, and I'm going to do that because I want them to be great. But if I don't tell them the truth, then I'm failing them, and I'm not going to fail them. I'm going to tell them exactly what they need in order to be successful. And at that point in time, it may be really hard. Yes, it is hard, but guess what? Winning in the ACC is really, really hard as well. But every day we got to show up, and we got to differentiate what we do from the rest, from everybody else in the country, and it's every possession, and every possession matters. So,
Coach Verdi, you've got 2 newcomers that you've anointed as captains of your team. What is it about these 2 young ladies that you're ready to turn this team over to?
Yeah, I mean, from day one, they're leaders. Everything they, and they're different. Which is great, but they work so well together. Deja leads by example. She's in there. She's the first one in the gym, last one to leave during the summer. I mean, I think she slept in the gym, but she did it because she loves the game of basketball, and she wants to have an unbelievable, year for us. But just alone, that dedication, is what I want here. I want players who are invested. I don't want a player who has 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. I want both feet in. And there's no question in my mind that she has both feet in. And then you got Brooklyn, somebody who leads, all right, and provides that constructive criticism, holds her teammates accountable. She has a sharp tongue. There's no question about it. But she's a winner, and she's competitive, and that's what we need. And she needs to really, hold her teammates accountable and get them to play at a different level. And I know that the 2 of these guys are capable of doing that.
Brooklyn, for so long in your career, you've been known as just that get in someone's shorts, defender, lockdown. Last hurrah right now. What have you added to your game
getting more downhill for sure. I'm gonna get downhill and finish buckets. Now I got somebody to dish it to every time I go down, drive downhill. So yeah, definitely that.
And so, Khadijah, if I could ask you, who's the one player on your team that maybe people don't know about that you think is going to make a big impact on your program this year?
I believe Mimi will definitely be an impact this year.
Why is that?
She's just she compete every practice, like we will like practice for like hours, and then she will have the same like energy. She will go hard. She will drive in the basket, run the floor. So yeah, definitely.
And that's Amaya Jenkins,
Yeah.
AKA Mimi. And I'll just piggyback on what Khadijah said. She's been fantastic in practice each and every single day. Just her motor, it's endless. Her mentality, she has a scores mentality. And I think that the culmination of what we put together here this year, I think we're going to have the opportunity to surprise a lot of teams.
All right, Brooklyn, who do you have?
Mia Jenkins too.
Okay.
Yeah, I've played with her like my whole
Jackpot.
entire life.
All
Yeah,
right.
so we got this connection. It's just like that. Yeah.
All right, Tori, obviously it's October, but what are the strengths of this team right now? And then what are those couple of areas that, hey, if we're going to make a run, we need to get better at?
I think they're resilient, and they have short-term memory. So I think that's good, because of everything that we go through. And, I think that you learn from your failures, and that's okay. We make mistakes, but we can't dwell on them. You got to have a, what's next mentality. And I think that this team is learning to do that. If you're still thinking about that mistake that you just made, it's obviously going to affect you down, the next couple of possessions. And I think that we're learning to, all right, what's next? Switch that gear. We turn the ball over. Okay, now let's go get it back. And these guys are relentless. And so I'm excited about the product that we're going to put out there on the floor, because I think that we're bigger. We're quicker, we're more athletic than we were, a year ago. So we're going to have the opportunities to pressure more, create some tempo, and make it exciting.
Brooklyn, can you give me a scouting report on Khadijah?
Okay, let's see. She likes to go over her right or left shoulder, either one, it doesn't matter. Watch the elbows too, by the way. But yeah.
When you're little, you gotta watch the elbows.
Yeah.
TSA.
But she got a pull-up jumper too now. She's starting to do the turn around and fade shoot it, so we've seen that too. So that's been great to see her progress and get better as the time goes on.
Khadijah, what about Brooklyn?
You gotta get low when you dribble, because she's coming for that ball. She'll get the steal. She's just her motor. She'll run up and down the floor. Her passes, and so yeah.
Tori, what many say is already the best conference in the country. Added 3 teams.
Yep.
Really good teams. Talk about maybe if your staff did any preparation in this offseason to get ready for what's becoming an even longer gauntlet now.
Yeah, I mean, we went through every single, game that we played last year, including, 3 new schools. And we want to look at the different things that they did. And so as we prepare our practices, we're mindful of those things, and we're adding things both on both sides of the ball. So, we know that there are no nights off. Every single game is just going to be a bear, and so, but that's what's exciting. But that's why these guys came here, and that's what we sell. We're talking to recruits. Come to the best conference in the country, have the opportunity to play against the best teams, in the country, and they're listening.
Ladies, obviously the ACC talks about accomplish greatness. What does that mean to each of you?
Well, for me, that's just always what I've stood for. I always want to be great. That's just something I want to do. That's who I am. That's how I want to be. And just being around all these girls and all these good teams is just setting me up for greatness.
Yeah, I would say same for me. Just compete every single day. Be great, work hard. So.
All right, for each of you to wrap up, one word that you hope encompasses this upcoming season.
You want me to go first again?
Yeah.
Winners. Winners. That's what I want us to be, winners. That's what I want. What you got?
I was gonna kind of go with the same because all this hard work we're doing win
Yeah.
at the end.
I want it to pay off.
Yeah.
It is going to pay off.
Coach?
I'm gonna say fun, but it's the hard work that makes it fun, you know, and that's where we have to get through. We have to understand that what we do on a daily basis, it is hard, but when you win, it's the byproduct, and that's where you get that enjoyment, and that's where we'll have that fun, and then we'll be like, okay, all right, we could do this again. Let's do this again, and let's remember how we became successful and what we did each and every single day. And I think that if we're mindful of that, you know, we're going to be able to do something that we haven't done in a long time.
Coach Verdi? Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pitt Panthers, good luck this season.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.